So it's time for another tech piece here on the Manx Grand Prix YouTube channel. With some of them, I've either ridden the bike in question or been around it enough to feel fairly comfortable and confident talking about them. With others, I absolutely don't. And the lightweight race this year represents the perfect chance for me to be the guy that doesn't really understand what he's talking about, so I'm better off listening. That's exactly what I did with the Laylaw Racing team. They've got an immaculate setup. They've won trophies in the past for having the best prepared bikes at the Manx Grand Prix. Eddie Laycock is an absolute dude of a guy. What he doesn't know about racing and tuning and building two-strokes isn't worth knowing. We caught up with him for a grassroots look at a Grand Prix 250 two-stroke Yamaha TZ. Let's have a look. This is a really trick setup, the Laylaw Racing garage in the paddock. We're here to talk about bikes, but I can't not grab a chance to talk to Eddie about the 1992 Dutch TT, you finishing in the top 10 on a 500. If there isn't one, two dark horses in here, there's definitely three with you and the race career that you've had. Any highlights?
Well, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. We're always two-stroke people, and I came here to the inaugural Classic TT at the time, and myself and Jerry Lawler came over and we just had a look and we said, you know, we really want to get back into this. It was great. So first year we came with a 4DP, which is a 92 Yamaha TZ250, and then we sort of ran in on that for 1 or 2 years, and then we decided we needed to move up a little bit. Yeah. So we bought a couple of these 5KE, which are the last of the real breed of TZ, manufactured right up to the end till 2009 till Moto 2 came in. So these are the last real Grand Prix 250s.
Absolutely as good as it's going to get.
As good as you're going to get. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So they have all, as you can see, you know, really good brake system.
Should we start? Should we have
yeah, absolutely. Here
I was trying to give you a chance to talk about your racing career there, and you swerved it.
Yeah, we'll put it to one side. It's fine.
Just keeping it casual.
Been there, done it. So wore the T-shirt. So happy days.
Okay.
Eddie Laycock flicked his Yamaha through the left and right of Brand. Laycock flashed round Waterworks to win by 5.6 seconds.
So you've got your choice of, you know, the bike that finished first and the bike that finished second.
We'll start here and we can move across, whatever suits you.
So I'm guessing identical in terms of
absolutely
spec?
Identical in spec, bit of kit stuff on them.
Yeah.
You know, really good brakes, proper suspension. Obviously we changed the rear suspension from Yamaha. We've one on Olin's, one on Maxton, just to get a sort of feeling for what each rider wants and get them set up for them. So we've done quite a bit of work, obviously going through inside with the engine. We've upgraded, you know, some of the pistons and whatever, have kit stuff in there, a bit of carbon fiber, played with reed valve, played with cylinder heads.
So these look like radial mount tyre blade calipers or something like that to me.
They are. Well, the last of the Yamaha ones, and even when Mike got on, actually the first night he went down the hill, and the first time he braked, he said he nearly went out through the screen. He couldn't believe it, because these bikes are so light, they come in at 100 kilos in weight, and he's used to like
100 kilos dry.
Yeah, so, and putting out, you know, sort of high 90 horsepower, so he just couldn't get over the brakes.
Yeah. And the suspension?
Suspension is Yamaha, but we've Maxton internals all done out, you know, so just to upgrade
it. A cartridge?
It's a cartridge, especially for around here, you know, everyone has, you just need that bit of safety around the island.
100 kilos?
Yeah. So when you're putting out, you know, sort of into the 90s and then put that into a litre, we're getting pretty serious horsepower per weight.
It's similar to, you know, the Davo's race winning classic.
Yes.
It's like a brake horsepower per kilo is the golden kind of area to hit.
Exactly.
And you're kind of doing the same thing with this one.
But again, as I say, we just love the two strokes, and a lot of people come here just to see this race, so it's fantastic. And hear and smell them. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the beauty about you having two is the fact that you've, in less time than it takes me to take a pair of shoes off, you've whipped the clothes off that one so that we can have a closer look.
Yeah, well,
so I'll slide over here. And if you could, talk us through exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah, okay, well, Obviously, we have our big radiator here, so you will see we've a fair bit of tape on them. Being a Grand Prix machine, they're made to, you know, to run really hot in some sunny countries, you know. So we just put our little bit of tape on here. We keep a good bit on this side, bit of tape here.
And you can just hoik that out while you're going.
And then if it gets a bit too hot, lose it. So it's just on the go, so that you're not worried about anything, because there's a sort of proper temperature. You want to be running around 62 degrees. If it gets any way too hot, lose it. So just on the go again, it just all helps. So your steering damper, obviously, you have one cylinder up here in the top and one cylinder sitting way out there, and you can see out down the bottom. So beautiful little V-twin. Again, the difference between the older bikes and the newer bikes, you have these air ducts on both sides, and they keep a lid and the whole carburetor completely sealed off, so you're pressurizing the air system rather than just sucking in out of the air. So these are quite trick. So because of that, you need a little fuel pump working here, and that pumps fuel down into the carbs with so much pressure the fuel just won't go in. So it really is amazing. I think it's about 110 miles an hour. Once you hit that, the pressure really builds up, and that's where the Yamaha's really come, you know, on song.
So the heads of the V,
one straight up and one down,
So it's an L.
Literally, yeah. Beautiful little, tiny little motors, and then we treat each cylinder like a 125, like we'll have different jetting on each side, because you know, one carb is here, one's stuck down at the front, so they're basically two little 125s knitted together.
It's a tiny little thing, isn't it?
Tiny little thing, lovely big, heavy, you know, light but heavy duty dry clutch over on this side.
Yeah.
So again, you were venting all as much, you know, cold air in as we can get. And we've all this kind of stuff going on, plenty of carbon fiber. Keep it as light as possible.
It's tiny, isn't it?
Yeah. Doesn't weigh a lot.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm scared to hope that you can take that back.
We'll
probably break
it. Take it back, and we won't break it yet. Exactly.
So how many? You know, if you needed to get into the bottom end of that motor, how long would it take you and the boys to get from where you are now?
No time at all. We'd be in that probably cylinder off in maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can.
So I've seen a few guys doing plug chops.
Yeah.
And Chris Palmer was telling me about how that will help you guys understand. Everything.
We got in. Do a plug chop on the way in, hold it flat in fifth, we wheel it in, head off, you know, read the crown of the piston, okay, we can go up, go down, we need to do this, need to do that, but 5 minutes, you're right into it.
You know where you're going with it.
We know exactly where
because it's telling you what it needs.
Yeah. For instance, on Wednesday, with Mike on this bike, being new to him, we put a little camera on it, and Mike being so talkative, we recorded him for a lap and realised he was looking for 7th gear about 9 times on the lap.
Yeah.
And I just said, Mike, you know, you need to gearing. He said, really, you know. So we were able to change gearing. We were able to hear it and a few corners.
So he thought the bike could pull another gear.
Yeah.
But there just wasn't any left.
No, he didn't. That was the problem. We did.
Yeah.
But again, going through some of the turns, I could hear it. Being a 2-stroke guy, you could hear just that little bit of leanness, so we changed up his emulsion tube. So, but we found more on that one onboard lap than Mike was able to tell us, so it's fantastic.
Yeah. And the shock?
Yeah.
We've got
a Maxton shock in there with our high and low speed. Maxton really works well on the roads. The Oland's is a great shock absorber, but the Maxton has that little high speed just for the bumps around here. Yeah. We can get our, you know, bottom of Bigara, but as we're going along Cronkavati, we can just tune out that little patter. So fantastic stuff, great suspension going on. Again, Grand Prix bike, lightweight wheels as standard, so we kept those, get them crack tested every year. Yeah. Because they're magnesium alloy, they're fine, but get them crack tested, especially around here. But very light wheels. And the other thing the guys found this year was the Bridgestone tires they're specifically made for 250s. They have a really soft sidewall, whereas the other makes tend to be more for 600s. They will fit, but these are a 250 specific tire.
So just the key numbers that we're trying to cover off then. So in weight terms, dry it's 100, So ready to race on the grid with Mike or Ian. I'm guessing about 118, 120.
About 180, yeah, and then draining down. Obviously, like we've 24, nearly 24 litres of fuel in there, so it's a good bit of weight going on. So last lap is always very light and fast.
Yeah, I bet. A 90. So what else should we cover? Top speed 152. I think one of you
154
guys
we went through.
the
Yeah,
track, 154.
Yeah. So it's a lot for a little 250. You know, when you look at the road, like that thing is sitting, you know, probably at 13,000 revs for 37 miles. You know, it's incredible what comes out of the car for the size of the little motor in it.
And the price. Not everybody likes talking about the money on race bikes, but
ballpark about 30 grand.
Okay, that's
which is not bad really in today's. You know, when you look at going to buy like a super sport or a super bike.
Yeah. But what about getting hold of spares and parts for this now, though?
Spares are getting tight, and the big problem we have with these, because they're a Grand Prix bike, the piston rings are really meant to do a race. And around here we get 450 miles out of a crankshaft. So it's like, it's pretty serious. You're just throwing parts at them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like 450 miles engine split.
Eesh.
Yeesh.
But it must be worth it when you
absolutely. Well, when you come back
with podium bikes.
Absolutely, it just makes it all worthwhile. Like, we've been here for a good few years. We've had a third and a second now, so to get that win was the icing on the cake.
And where else could people go and see this bike run, or is it just?
It's really here. Yeah, we like to keep them fresh, so everything revolves around here. It's great.
It is one of those bikes that you could just stand and stare at, isn't it?
Exactly. I think that's perfect. A work of art.
Yeah, so on the other bikes we've been talking about rear sets and stuff, but it just looks like sometimes with race bikes you just see the simplest things is what they want to.
That's it. There's not too many adjustments. It's really just your gear change and your levers is all you can really change in this. We just put in a little quick shift, obviously, and that's about it. After that, it's back to basics. There's no electronics, no slipper clutches. It's all down to the rider.
The rider, yeah. It's about as pure as it's going to get, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Right, Eddie, thanks very much.
Perfect.
I'll see you next
Enough
year.
bullshit.